It says preparing to live stream the meeting. It's about a quarter of the way up. I'm not clicking back to the camera. I don't want to screw anything up.
I don't blame you.
It should automatically take me back. What's up, everybody? This is Johnny Basement, and we are live tonight. So if you see any screw-ups, anything that went wrong, any preparations that me and my man were having here, forgive us because we don't know what we're doing. We're technical dummies. Welcome to the basement where you know everything is a trial and error basis. That's what we do here. I said changes were coming, and that's what we're doing. This is our first time being on here. I'm on with a good friend of mine, Lou Talks. He's called that because he talks too much, as you guys are going to find out. Tonight, we are coming in strong. We're coming in with KD. This is the hottest topic out there right now. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, requesting trades off the Nets. My man Lou and I talk almost after every game. Mets, Yankees, Lightning, basketball. We talk for hours, so we figured why not? We're going to be on here. He was on a couple of videos ago during the Lightning game. We had him on speakerphone, under the mic, real raw, real whatever, because that's what happens here in the basement. Lou, take it away, brother.
What's going on, guys? Lou Talks here with my man, Johnny Basement. Just want to say first, I was completely off with my last prediction. Tampa did go into Colorado and pulled that one out. So I was completely wrong, and I'll be the first one to sit here and tell you when I'm wrong. But when I'm right, you're going to hear that I'm right.
That's true. The Game 5 prediction of the Colorado Lightning was bad.
But let's get into this business. Man. We're going to get into business right away.
Yep.
Because this man right here, as much as he's a great pure scorer, we were talking about that earlier, but I'm telling you, you have to take him out the top 10 easily if he goes into one of these teams. I mean, he can't do it by himself. He made this big prediction that he was going to come to Brooklyn and be the Messiah, and he pooped on himself.
Oh, man, he went to Brooklyn and everything was like, oh, he got the savior. He left Golden State. He wanted to prove that he was a real leader. I'm going to tell you something, man. He proved he wasn't a leader before he even set foot with Brooklyn by not choosing the Knicks. When you go to the Knicks, the Giants, the Yankees, or the Rangers, you're going to be scrutinized way more than the New York's secondary teams, the Islanders, Nets, Mets, and Jets. You are going to be scrutinized as a player way more. You want real pressure, you go to the Knicks. Do what Mark Messier did for the Rangers years ago. You come to that team, say we're going to win a ring, it's been forever, and you do it. And then you get put up on a pedestal. From that day on, Mark Messier was not Wayne Gretzky's sidekick anymore. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest shooters of our day, but he is not a leader. He's not even close.
I know, and it's funny because remember I said he might even fall out of the top 25, and you were like, for real? And once again, I'm not saying scoring ability. I'm talking about overall. Yes, guy can drop 40, 50 on you any given night, you know. But as a leader, I mean, he's taking the easy way out. He couldn't beat Golden State, and what did he do? If you can't beat him, join him. You know, did win an MVP final. We got to give him that. But two.
But there was no pressure on him. You think about it. When they played against the Cavs, if LeBron sat down for 5 minutes, his team's going to go down by 20. If KD sits down, you have four of the guys that can do the same shot. The bench is starters, man. Yeah. There's not the same pressure. It's not the same pressure. He went there when he had pressure. They were down 3-1 to Golden. I mean, they were up 3-1 to Golden State when he was on OKC. Go look at Game 5 and 6 with KD, and it all lands on Westbrook for some reason. It was terrible.
He disappeared in the fourth quarter a couple of times in those games. No, he definitely did. And then for him to now try to go on to Phoenix and what was the other team?
Miami.
Miami. those are two teams that are built to win now, even without him.
But the team he's on now is built better to win than those teams are. Think about it. You got Josh Harris coming back. Who knows what Simmons is going to do? That's a whole nother talk show. But then you got Kyrie, man. You got the guy best handles in the history of the game.
Yes.
Now that the vaccination stuff is over, his best chance to do anything is on the team he's on now.
Yeah, this is going to be a stain on his legacy. This is a stain. I'm sorry, this is a stain. He already had one before because when he went to Golden State, we all said it. Oh, you soft. You are so soft. You seen that movie Sleepers? He's soft like bread. That's who he is.
Oh, yeah.
One of the greatest lines ever.
Good reference, man. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You got the greatest point guard in the game, the greatest handles in the game. All due respect to Curry, I'm just saying, Kyrie can win, but the same pressure isn't on Kyrie. He needs that second. He needs that number one guy. KD is not it. He's not it. He's folded under pressure, man. I don't want to hear anybody compare him to LeBron. It's funny how Michael Jordan has more rings than LeBron, and that's what we go by. But LeBron has 2 more than KD's got, but all of a sudden he's not better than him. LeBron makes his teammates better. KD does not make his teammates better.
Well, LeBron's championships hold weight. This guy's championship can sink. It's a paper championship. I'm sorry. He went to a team that he couldn't beat. It's kind of like what A-Rod did. He couldn't beat the Yankees, goes to the Yankees, gets a ring. I lost respect for Carmelo when he left Utah to go. I think he went to LA, didn't win anything.
He did with Gary Payton and them. Yeah, remember that team? They lost to the Pistons. That's right. Yeah. They tried to make their own little, older veteran super team.
You had Clyde Drexler. He went to Houston, but he won a championship.
Clyde Drexler?
Yeah, didn't he go to Houston and win one?
They didn't win. That's the same team that Barkley was on. No, they didn't win.
Oh, excuse me.
Clyde Drexler's never gotten a ring. Okay. Never gotten a ring. That goes back to our arguments, man, on why LeBron has had tougher competition than Jordan, man.
Yeah. And plus, coming to New York, not everybody's built to play in New York. We've said this multiple times. We've had big stars that come and crumble. They can't handle the pressure. New York is a city that when you're winning, you are on a pedestal. People will cheer for you. You're on the front of the Daily News, the New York Post. But when you're bad, that back page of the sports of the Daily News will get you.
Well, that's why, man. That's why I said choosing the Nets. There's no pressure there. You grew up in the Bronx, man. You've known guys that are fans of every New York team, even including the Jersey Devils. I can't think of any diehard Net fans growing up. Zero. I don't not know of any. Nobody even cared when Vince Carter and Jason Kidd and Kmon and all them were all in the final versus the Lakers. I mean, we watched it, but I don't remember anybody like, man, the Nets better win. Man, the Nets, when they lost, they lost. Even the papers didn't care.
Yep. Kenyon Martin had Kenyon Martin.
Vince Carter. They had
the bullheaded
Kerry Kittles. They had Kerry Kittles on that team.
Jefferson? Was it Jefferson?
He was on one of them, yeah. And then they had Jason Kidd. Yeah, man. Yeah. They had the team.
Yep.
They had the team, man, but nobody cared. So this going to the Nets is such a punk move, man. It's like, well, who cares? Nobody cares. And all these stars that are sitting on the sidelines, where are they going to be now? Where are they going to be now?
Nowhere.
The Knicks may be trash, but you know what? They've been doing it. They're trying to build their team. They're trying to do it the right way through the draft to keep the younger players. Did I want KD and Kyrie in the beginning? Of course I did. Who didn't? But he doesn't have that mental power to be on a team and carry it. You come to the Knicks, you have to carry that team. He'd have been scrutinized way worse for this. Way worse.
Look at Carmelo. Look at what Carmelo did. I mean, he didn't win the championship, but that man was balling in New York.
He did. I mean, he didn't even. I mean, KD has more of a team around him than Carmelo had. And he had Lynn Sanity for 1 year, right? Lynn Sanity. Remember Lynn Sanity?
That was the most overhyped player. I mean, don't get me wrong. He gave him a spark, and I think it was good for the league.
Yeah.
Especially when you have somebody that's from, that has ties from overseas. What's the word I'm looking for? His culture and his family. He did great, but I mean, What did he do?
He
Nothing.
did great for that 1 year. It was funny because you knew after that it was going to fade out, man.
Yeah, he got a big paycheck. Was it who he went to Houston? Was it?
Oh
Who gave him
gosh, he
that
went
big
to
paycheck?
Houston and a couple other teams.
Yeah, they bought the hype.
I'm going to say the Lakers, but I don't know if he went there or not. But yeah, they brought the
Nah,
hype,
yeah.
man. But right, Carmelo didn't have the team that KD
No.
has on this. The team he can win with is the team he's on now. I
Yeah,
don't understand this whole thing, man. And on top of that, you see the haul that Gobert, that the Jazz got for Rudy Gobert. The Nets want more than that. They got what, 4 players and 6 first-round picks.
They from what I heard yesterday, they were trying to package a deal with Minnesota. I forgot who the players were, but they wanted like 4 number 1 picks, and this is how you know that he's not worth it. The Timberwolves said no, he's not worth it.
No, but he had they had all the draft picks. The Nets want that haul. They want more of a haul than that for KD. So let's say he does get traded to the Suns and they give up more than the Wolves gave up for Gobert. What kind of team is he going to be going to? A stripped down team?
I'll make a point. I think what happened to Brooklyn was Nash.
Oh yeah.
Think about it. The Mets, real quick, not to get off subject. For the last couple of years, nobody wanted to come here. Nobody wanted to come to my team. We got Buck, and look how the culture changed. It starts with him, and it trickles down. Brandon Nemo was telling this guy, get down. When Don was rounding third yesterday, that comes from the coach. Having Kevin Nash, that was the worst decision because he's not proven. He has no respect, from the players.
Just say Kevin Nash.
What's his first name?
Steve Nash, man. You said Kevin Nash. We talking about the NWO.
I'm sorry, brother. I'll tell you this, and what you always say, this is the basement. We're not.
This is the basement, bro.
We're not
Stuff
experts.
happens, man, but we will call you out when it happens.
We're not experts. I'm not an expert. I don't know names, too much names. I don't know stats, but
regular guys out here know me. I tell them I'm not a pro.
Yeah.
Diehard fans. Speaking of diehard fans, man, that's it.
This ain't ESPN. This is the basement.
That's right. It's Lou's first time on here. Give him a break. At least showing his face anyway. Maybe we should go back to the phone.
Man. But Nash, them picking Nash, I think right there they were setting themselves up for failure. Same thing with Luis Rojas last year with the Mets. Didn't have no control of the team.
Well, these are all yes men.
Yes
man. Steve Nash is a yes man. Yeah, he's he's a great point guard, 2-time MVP. They wanted him as coach, man, because he did better when D'Antoni was his assistant coach. He really did, because it's like every play he would turn to Mike D'Antoni, it seemed like. But now with D'Antoni gone, and now he don't have anybody. Steve Nash, he got so badly out-coached by Boston. So badly out-coached.
There was
and
no
all
adjustment.
Boston did was, we're going to double-team KD and let the rest of the team beat us. And they couldn't do it. Now, that wouldn't have happened.
The pick and roll. They killed the pick and roll. There was no adjustments by Brooklyn. No adjustments.
None.
But
he got out-coached badly. You know why? Because the coach in Boston came out from under Popovich, man.
You stole my thunder there, John. I was going to ask you. I said, if Pop was the coach, do you think that Kyrie would have missed half the season?
Well, that part of that was the vaccination. That wouldn't have been. I don't think he would have inspired them to get vaccinated.
I think that was just a smokescreen for what was going on.
Well, the vaccination in New York. What's kind of funny, because that vaccination law in New York, if you were on a visiting team and weren't vaccinated, you could play in the building. That was weird.
Makes no sense. But you know who turned it around? You're gonna laugh at me?
Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve, but the Yankees too.
Yeah, of course, man.
If you notice, right before the season started, oh yeah, we're gonna lift the ban. Oh, don't worry about it. Blah 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 blah. It's because the big dogs were coming to play.
Yeah, money talks, man. Money talks.
Yeah,
that's what I mean, man. Money talks. That's why, man, KD and Kyrie have to stay together. You can't. Like I said, if he gets traded, huh?
I'm sorry, this guy right here. He's. I'm not saying he's a joke because we
Well,
know
not as
that
a player, no.
but he had. It was. What was it? It was him, Harden, and Russell, right? In
Yes,
in
on
uh in
OKC
OKC.
and Ibaka. You had some players on that team, man.
And Ibaka. I
And
forgot
Serge
about
Ibaka
Ibaka.
on that team too. Yeah, man.
And you're gonna tell me that you're up 3-1. There was a couple of other series that before that they were smoking Golden State. Tell me this. Put LeBron, Jordan, Kobe. I'll even put Tim Duncan in this conversation. Up 3-1. You think they're gonna lose the series?
No, because none of them ever did. None of them ever did. And on top of that, when LeBron's beating KD straight up, LeBron also, when everybody makes fun of them, oh, the Mavericks beat the Heat. Did you see who the Mavericks beat along the way to get to that finals? And they were in the conference finals. KD, Westbrook, that whole OKC team was in the Western Conference Finals. They lost to them. Kobe lost to them. So the Mavericks wanted some pushover team, but KD has lost. KD is the only guy I know in this era because LeBron is so hated. KD gets accolades for what he did in losses where LeBron doesn't get that. The excuses for KD, look at it. When he loses in the playoffs, like they just got swept and he gets accolades for all the point and everything he tried to do. And he was double teamed and all these things. And a lot of people say he's better than LeBron. But yet LeBron does LeBron could have 60, 30, and 20 triple-double, man, and he'll get mocked the whole time because he didn't win. KD doesn't get that. He gets a pass on. He only gets ridiculed for trying to switch all these teams all the time, man. That's what he's getting ridiculed for. He's not a leader. He's not even close to a leader. I always say you take LeBron off that Cavalier team, any of them, and stick KD in his place, then some of them aren't even making the playoffs.
For that comment, you are the real MVP, John.
All right, I started rolling, man.
I think no, but you made an awesome point. I mean, because you're absolutely right. For some reason, I don't know why people hate LeBron so much.
I hate him.
I'm not his biggest fan.
I know you,
but I'm not his biggest critic neither. You have to respect what he does. But back to this dude. How is it that you say, oh, yeah, the whole Golden State was okay, but I'm going to show you, pumping his chest. I'm going to Brooklyn. We're going to win championships. And, dude, you can't even. And then on top of that, the worst part is that you're trying to go to a team that's already established.
The Nets didn't even make the conference finals either year they were there. Didn't even make the conference finals. And now you go, like I said, you add him on, but what do these teams have to give up? The Nets want a Rudy Gobert plus type of trade. They want a huge, so what kind of team are you going to if the other team stripped all the way down?
It's because the Nets have no more picks. They gave up everything to get these two guys over here, and they basically mortgaged the farm. And
they gave up to get Harden, too. Where'd he go?
He's another softie.
Oh, he's worse than KD. He's worse. He's worse than KD because he doesn't.
Did you hear the rumors of why he left Brooklyn? Because of Kyrie was giving him the business during practice?
I didn't. I heard that he had problems with teammates. I didn't know that specifically, though. No, I can't say that I did.
So this is from the Herd and a couple of other sources that I've heard. So I guess during practice, Kyrie was telling Harden, "You're a bum. You're a bum." Kept on telling him he's a bum. And from what they were saying, really? Yes, he was giving him the business during practice. Look it up; it's crazy. And I guess it got to him because he wanted out, and he crawled his way out. When the funny thing is, you went to the Sixers, and you disappeared again. He's another one that disappeared.
I know, he did. He disappeared.
Was it Game 7? And where he had 2 points?
2 points. He made Starks look great when he did in '94. He made Starks hit more in Game 7 against the Rockets in the finals than Harden hitting this, man. It was awful. He had 2 points.
See, the difference between Starks that year is that he kept on shooting.
Well, Don't get me started, man.
But but he kept on shooting. This guy wasn't even taking shots. He
Well, I
was
know.
passing the ball.
Yeah.
It's like you trade one bum for another bum.
Oh gosh. We went to I was at the Knicks Sixers game and in March in Philly, and the fans there, they all love him. That was Harden's first night. First night, it was against the Knicks. He looked okay. And everybody there is like believing like Harden's gonna be there forever. I'm like, you guys, are you crazy? He ain't gonna be there forever. He might be there to the end of the year. That's it. Man, he's softer than KD.
Softer than bread.
But Harden has never been looked at to be the leader of the team like KD is. He's not KD. I mean, Harden and Kyrie aren't put in the same category as KD and LeBron. KD is supposed to be, I can lead these teams. And he acted as if the Warriors wouldn't be able to win without him, forgetting that they did win without him in 2015. So and so he left. Now they won. He should have just stayed there and take the jokes. Even if you got a couple more rings, keep taking those jokes. But leaving here and coming to Brooklyn now, and not even giving this a chance and bouncing because you got swept. But then again, like to your point, you're up 3-1 in that Western Conference Finals versus Golden State. You blow that, you run to that team. You just got embarrassed. The Celtics embarrassed you. They shut you down. Your coach did nothing for you. I mean, at least if you said, I don't like the coach I have, or we had no game plan, but they just showed a double team on KD was all it took. He was missing shot. I mean, shots that he normally wouldn't even miss. The rare times he was open, he was so flustered, he missed those too. It's terrible. But you're not a leader of your team. LeBron knows his team's strengths and weaknesses. That's why LeBron is, even Skip Bayless, who critiques him all the time, says LeBron at point guard is the best point guard in the game. The guy who has the basketball knowledge is incredible. He knows his teammates' weaknesses and strengths, and he's not even a point guard. KD can't do that. Yeah, KD's a way better shooter than LeBron, but he's not a leader. He doesn't make his teammates better. He doesn't make his
100%.
But I guarantee
100%.
If he really wanted to win, he should stay right where he's at. Because I just believe these other teams are going to be stripped all the way down, man, to get him.
I'll tell you this. If he goes to Miami or Phoenix, I'm going to remove him from the top 25. I'm sorry. I know it sounds – look, it's
Start throwing some names out, man, that you would take over him. Straight up trades. How about top 25? You'd say straight up you would not take KD over blank.
All time? Because I was talking about all time.
I mean, obviously you don't have to whip out 25 names, but yeah, you said he's not top 25 if he leaves here.
Okay. You got
– But that would see, to me personally, I'm going to throw this out there. Him leaving doesn't make his play is not in question. The guy is an incredible
exactly.
shooter.
That's my point.
So when you're staying top 25 straight up, it can't be because he left the team.
Why not?
That's just a weak leader. Does it make him a weak? You want to include it in that?
Yeah,
how do you
of course.
include it in it?
Because,
how do you include that?
Because how?
Are you talking? Okay, well then maybe I'm misunderstanding you. Are you talking top 25 player, including being a leader?
Yes. I'm talking about overall. I'm talking about not just scoring, because like I said, he's in the top 5 scorer of all times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he can definitely, there's no doubt. The shooting ability is amazing. Yeah,
That's like when people say that Drake is the best MC. That dude don't even write his own rhymes. So for me, is this guy right here, if you're going to
Drake drop in the middle of that, go ahead. I love it.
He's picking teams that he's able to win. That's cherry picking. Come on, how can you respect that? So my point is this.
I straight up, I would trade blank for KD straight up. Name some. Obviously not all 25, but name some.
Okay, we got the GOAT, Michael Jordan, right?
Well, LeBron and Jordan, we already know. Forget them. We already know that's a given.
Larry, Magic.
Okay.
Hakeem. Duncan.
Definitely Duncan. Yep.
You know, who else we have here? I'm gonna pick Clyde the Glide. You would take
Drexler over Durant, straight up.
Did you remember how he was when he was with the Blazers?
I've seen Drexler play. I think I would take KD over Clyde Drexler, man.
Okay.
Clyde Drexler did. I mean, if you're comparing leaving teams, doing all that, he did it himself. He did it later in his career.
Later in his career. Okay, I'll give you that.
I don't know. I'm gonna disagree with you on that one.
Patrick. Patrick Ewing was a
Different kind
monster,
of players, though.
but took the Knicks, and
No, you're right. Without Ewing, the Knicks wouldn't go as far as they went. No, I'll give you that. Yep. Okay.
AI.
Oh yeah, I take Iverson over. Yeah, I mean these are different positions, but I know what you're saying.
No. I'm just saying. I'm just naming the top 25.
I get you. AI, man, was a true leader of that Sixers team. They wouldn't even made it as far as they did, and that Sixers team, Mutombo, even being older, Mutombo played his ass off, but they weren't beating that Lakers team, man. They just weren't.
No.
But AI, I mean,
No.
120.
But he stepped up to the challenge every single time.
No doubt.
Dirk.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, people are gonna laugh, maybe we're gonna laugh at this one, but Manu Ginobili was a monster in his own right. The dude played offense, defense, he banged, he caught the rebounds, he did the dirty work and still scored. He could still score 20, 30 points any given night too.
I know, but if you're talking about him, I'd take KD over Manu, man.
Okay, I'm just throwing.
I mean, if you're talking about a guy like if you remove Duncan and Parker, who's going to do better as the lone guy on that team, KD or Ginobili?
Ginobili was a monster.
Yeah, but is he going to do better than KD on that team?
That dude.
I mean, if you took Ginobili off the team, put KD in his spot, man, who's putting up more numbers?
Well, you put KD anywhere, like we were talking about him scoring, he's going to score anywhere he goes.
That's right. Well, as long as there's no pressure on him. As long as he doesn't have to be the main guy. He'll be the main guy when he doesn't have to be the main guy. If that makes sense.
San Antonio would have been perfect for him because there's no pressure over there.
No, it's really they just play as a team. They play as a team. There's pressure on the Popovich. These guys play as a team. There's no real, like when people talking about Kawhi Leonard being, when he went to the Clippers and everybody thought that they're definitely going to win with that team. Oh, he's going to be the first guy, 3 different teams, lead the championships. I'm like, I don't know on that Spurs team if I consider Kawhi Leonard the guy on that team, the main guy. He still had the big names on that team. Not like he was on Toronto. Toronto, he was the reason that they won that. Forgetting the injuries on Golden State, but Kawhi was the real reason Toronto won. He was honestly the missing piece that Toronto didn't have.
I think he was at the right team at the right time with the right situation. Because you said there was a lot of injuries. I don't think Clay playing.
Clay got injured in that series, and KD got injured in that series.
Yeah.
I did listen. That's a big factor. The Warriors probably would have won that series. I'm just saying, but it is what it is. It's the same excuse when people say, "Well, Draymond missed Game 5, so that's the reason why Golden State lost 6 and 7 to LeBron." That's ridiculous, man. Because you can say in the first series versus the Warriors, he didn't have Kyrie and he didn't have Kevin Love when they lost in 2015. But that's not the same excuse. So people say, no, that's not the same thing. Yeah, hell yeah, it's the same thing. You're missing Kyrie and Kevin Love? Reggie Miller?
Oh, yeah.
Reggie Miller. See, again, KD's got the rings, and I know people are listening. It always falls back to rings. Reggie didn't have any rings, but Reggie hit under pressure a lot. But you know what? I would take KD over Reggie, though. I would.
Okay.
But Reggie would hit some pressure shots, man. That dude hit major pressure shots. The pace
look what he did to the Knicks. 9 points in 44 seconds. 12 points.
25 points in the fourth quarter of that game when he had he didn't have a total of that in the first 3 quarters. Then he gets 25 in the fourth, and he did that to Spike.
I was gonna say that. He said something about his wife. That's what started the whole fight.
I don't know. Listen. I know we know Spike's a diehard Knicks fan, and he's at every game, and he does run the mouth too. So Reggie's gonna come back at you.
Yeah, no. There was a documentary on it. And it was because he says something about Spike Lee's wife, and that's when Spike Lee was kind of like chasing him down the court, talking, waving his finger. Okay.
And I don't blame him. Spike is the ultimate Knicks fan because Spike is there when the Knicks are trash. He's still there. Not that a lot of these other stars and all these other, they don't go there when the Knicks are trash. Spike is there. And he's at Ranger games too.
And they've been trash for a lot of years.
I know we're sliding off the Kevin Durant thing for a second, but the New York Knicks, to put it in perspective of people that are listening that are not New Yorkers or haven't grown up with some of these garbage organizations, James Dolan has made the New York Knicks. He's made the owners of the Jets and the Mets before Steve Cohen look great. He made the Wilpons and Woody Johnson look like geniuses.
And that's hard to do.
That is impossible to do. The Jets made 2 AFC championship games and a couple of playoff appearances under Woody Johnson since 2000. Had a couple of dominant teams for a little short time there. The Wilpons made a World Series in 2014, even though they lost. Up until the Knicks,
I think they made 2 World Series. They made 2 World Series. They lost to the Yankees and they lost to the Royals. That's right. 2000, I know, because people on this 2001 is the 2000. Right. Okay, so they made 2. I think it was 15.
Against the Royals. Yeah, against the Royals, right. When Johnny Gomes, who didn't play 1 inning, didn't play 1 out, nothing, talk trash about the Mets. And he didn't even play in the World Series. But I'll never forget that, man. It's like, yeah, we kicked their ass, and the Mets had all these pitches, and, you know, we're steering off track here, man. But James Dolan made these guys look incredible. The Jets haven't been to playoffs in 11 years, and the Knicks still are worse than that. They've won what? Up until the Hawks playoff, they hadn't won a playoff series since Carmelo, when they won 1 playoff series. Before that, they hadn't made anything since '99 with Allen Houston,
right? Oh, see, we there.
Man. Yeah, boom, right there. Wow. So anyway, would you in today's game, right now, forget about age, just right now, would you straight up take Luka over KD?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, would you really? Oh wow,
yes.
I wouldn't do that. I would.
One, he's younger. He's younger. He's younger, way younger. So he's going to give you a lot more years. Did you see what he did in the playoffs?
I know he's younger, yes, man. I mean, okay, you can factor that. If they were both the same age right now, who would you take? Both in their prime.
That dude was dropping 40 points back to back or something like that.
Man. Well, KD has done all of that in the playoffs, man. He's done all of that. You're talking about 1 playoff run for Luka, man. Right now, and he complains after every shot. He's the biggest baby in the league, Luka. Even when no one's near him.
Did you see this guy right here? How many times? He's a prima donna, this guy right here.
Listen, that I know. Luka, though, is bad. When you watch him, even when he makes a shot, no one's near him, he's still doing this automatically to the refs. He's bad. It's bad. Man. My son pointed that out to me, man.
You'll take Steph?
Oh, yeah. I take Steph over KD. He's won without him, and he's won without him twice. Steph this year, unlike KD, Steph proved he can, because he's been mocked for a long time that he couldn't lead the team, and he needed. He wasn't ever the leader of the team. He proved, especially this year, because Golden State was a beatable team. They were beatable more than any other team they've had, and he led that team this year. He led that team to that championship this year, man.
The people the people that say that don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, I agree. I'm just telling you what's been said about him. I'm not saying I believe that.
Oh, no. I got you, John. I got you. But whoever says that does not know what they're talking about, because you don't make it into the playoffs and run through the whole entire team without that man. That dude, you can't guard him. Like, you try to set up a defense and he just demolishes whatever plan you have, because he throws from the left, he throws from the right, he'll dribble, he'll teardrop, he'll shoot from 50 feet away. That's amazing.
Yeah, man.
The Greek Freak, don't forget about him.
Curry, they were down 2-1 in that series. They were down 2-1, and Curry went off because Clay wasn't 100% that series. He wasn't consistent like he normally was. Steph really carried this team more than any other year in this finals, man. He really did. I mean, they were getting out rebounded. There was a whole lot of things going on that Curry,
Where was
he was all over his teammates about this, man. I mean, think about it. Boston was twice their size.
Green didn't do nothing.
Huh?
Draymond Green didn't do nothing.
Zero. Draymond Green, that guy is running his mouth, and guys in the Celtics are pointing to the scoreboard like you are doing nothing. Nothing. Draymond Green is the type of player that has the accolades that in the past, Knicks would have been like, boom, 5-year deal. You've won championships, realizing that, he had stuff to do with it. But, man, that's the type of player the Knicks normally would have signed in the past for 5-6 years, somebody like that, who's way past his prime. And he just lives on running his mouth. And the Celtics showed nobody cares about you running your mouth. They're shooting in his face. They're leaving him wide open to take shots. I mean, come on, man.
So
what a joke.
Steph did his thing, and even he's done his thing even all the way from Davidson. People didn't even know who this kid was. Went to Davidson, went to the NCAA, which I still think
the Knicks passed him up. That's another one. Yeah, the Knicks passed him up.
And was dropping 50 back-to-back games 2 years in a row.
Dude, that guy's disgusting. He's the greatest three-point shooter ever, man.
Oh, think about it. He beat Allen. He beat Ray Allen in half the time.
I know. Dude, the guy is one. And you're talking about some incredible three-point shooters that have ever played this game. And he is, to me, it's not even a discussion. It's like Lawrence Taylor on the Giants is the greatest linebacker. It's not even close. Wayne Gretzky is the greatest hockey player of all time. It's not even close. And Steph Curry, three-point shooter. To me, I'm sorry, who are you taking over him for three-point shots, man? Nobody.
When you are a player that the league has to change their rules because you're destroying them. Like when Lawrence Taylor was playing, that man was destroying people. He had the club. He would hit people with the club, and they changed the game because of him.
They changed the game, yes. They'd run away from him and still get the guy. He still catch the running back behind the line. He couldn't block them. Wayne Gretzky changed the hockey, man. He changed the game. He still has tons of records that haven't been even close to yet. Guys come into the league. Bill Belichick said it best when he was asked a couple years ago when they were playing the Bears and Khalil Mack. He complimented Khalil Mack, and the reporter said, does he remind you of the young Lawrence Taylor? He was like, oh, no, what? And they said, does it remind you of young Lawrence Taylor? He said, no, anybody can YouTube that. He said, you're talking about Lawrence Taylor now. He said, all due respect to all the players that he's coached and the great players he's coached, he doesn't put anybody in Lawrence Taylor's category. That's what Steph Curry is to me when it's three-point. He has changed the game. He can hit it a mile away. Anytime he puts it up, you're surprised when it doesn't go in. Seriously. Right?
No,
the minute he shoots, it's money. Katie doesn't he doesn't bring that. That's what I mean. He is the weakest great player of his era. That's the best way to word it. He's the weakest-minded great player of his era. There's no doubt he's a great player, but putting him in a position where you're going to compete against LeBron for being a leader of a team, you're kidding yourself. That's a joke.
You're telling me he's the Chris Webber of this era?
Well, you went back to Chris Webber. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep. Chris Webber did.
Not only did he take a poop in college 2 times.
Oh man.
He went to Golden State. Not Golden State. I'm sorry, Sacramento. That they had a squad, dude. They had a squad, and he pooped himself.
Oh, the Kings, yeah, they did. That was a rare time the Kings were challenging the Lakers, man. I mean, to a point, but yeah,
that was when a real squad. One of the greatest shots I've ever seen was Robert Horry. Game 7, I think it was in Sacramento, and the ball just rolled to him with like 4 seconds left. That's why they call him Big Shot.
Yeah, well, Robert Horry is always the favorite one when people have that ring conversation. Well, he has 7, so there's none, right? Obviously, wherever Robert goes, you're getting a ring. And people are, you can't compare him. Like, I don't know, he has 7 rings and he's been on different teams and he always seems to get the ring. I mean, that's just to throw it, a thing in there because the ring conversation is valuable to a point. It's legit to a point. But the rings are always a big deal in basketball and football. You don't hear much about it in hockey, and you don't hear about it in baseball. Wayne Gretzky, by the way, Mark Messier has 6 championships, and Gretzky has 4. You never hear Messier being better than Gretzky, ever.
I take championships in golf. I know you hate when I mention golf.
Everybody, when we're talking about golf, here's Lou. I'll be listening like y'all.
Tennis, sports that is an individual sport that you have to play yourself. When you
I
are
agree.
going, when
That's
you're
true.
going into a team game that you have to have, like especially in football, you have to have 11 people at the same time doing the same thing. Baseball, think about it. They walked Barry Bonds with bases loaded, okay? Because they've had to face the other guy that faced Barry Bonds. Come on, man. So you could neutralize one player in a team sport,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. Tennis, that's the ultimate one. Golf, yes, you're playing against yourself. You're even your own referee, even though everything's on TV. But you know what I mean.
That's
How can you say, like, basketball, yes, you have to play defense. Basketball and hockey are the two sports where you have to turn around and play defense. And if you are slacking a little bit, you will get exposed. You will. So that, to me, those two sports there is more detrimental to how you do when you're out there. Now, basketball, they're on the court a lot longer than a guy playing one line out of the 4 lines in hockey. But still, when you're out there, you can't half-ass it out there. You're gonna get exposed. You just can't do it. Football, you don't play offense and defense. Baseball, you do, but it's just different. The rings aren't the same. Like I said, Mark Messier is not considered greater than Wayne Gretzky, yet he has 6 championships. He has 6. Gretzky has 4. Gretzky, hey, I mean, if I even wanted to make an argument for it, we're not steering into this. I'm just saying. I can say Messier has won without Gretzky, but he never won without Mark. I mean, if you want to really, if you really want to drop stuff in there, I could think of an argument for anything. But that would be a ridiculous argument. But in basketball, Jordan has the 6. Yeah, KD has 2. LeBron has 4. But yet everybody says KD's better. But then they'll say, well, Jordan's better than LeBron because he has 6. So you can't have it both ways. Just say you hate LeBron, but don't say KD's better because he's not. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Dude, one thing I would say about LeBron, as much as people say that he's a whiner, whatever, he would have made it in the 90s.
Oh, come on.
This guy right here, I don't think would have made it in the 90s.
80s, 90s,
Remember,
no way.
There was hand checking. If you dropped 3 or 4 points in a row and you try to take it to the hole, you had Anthony Mason ready to drop an elbow in your mouth. Say Charles Oakley. Who was
Dale Davis.
Is it PJ Brown from Miami?
PJ Brown from Miami, Dale Davis from the Pacers, Charles Oakley from the Knicks. Yeah,
Karl Malone.
These guys will knock their head off, man. Yeah, they all said it too. Barkley said it with a lot of these players, man, we would have thrown them in the first row. They don't even have to have the ball. Football back then was the same way. Dan Marino had more pressure on him and Joe Montana than the guys today. Does that mean Tom Brady's not the GOAT? He is the GOAT. I used to defend Montana to a point, and I only defend when I have Jordan people come to me say Jordan's better than LeBron because he never lost a championship. Those same people will tell me Brady's better than Montana. I'm like, but if you lose a championship and you can't be considered the GOAT, then how could Brady be better than Montana?
I'll tell you my philosophy on that. During Montana's era, was there even free agency?
At the end of his era, but not in his prime. Not really, no.
So
he had the same team.
That's what I'm saying. So when the Niners were kicking everybody's butt, they kept the same team. How many offensive Hall of Famers besides Moss did Brady play with?
Oh, I'm not debating it. Brady's definitely the GOAT, but Montana, I mean, he's 4-0. He had different. When I say he had different pressure, Montana got knocked out ice cold in a championship game against the New York Giants, and all he was carted off the field. Who's the next quarterback up? There wasn't any fines. There wasn't any reviews on the screen and penalties. You got knocked out legitimately, and now the next guy's got to come in. These
wasn't that his last game?
That was in the playoffs. That
was his last game as a Niner.
Yeah, not the first time. The second time when Leonard Marshall hit him in the back and slipped his disc. Montana's been laid out twice by the Giants in the playoffs. Twice. All right, so then he went to the Chiefs. Right, well, lose a Giant fan. I'm a Jet fan, but I still the Giants.
Hey, I respect Gang Green. How many times have we talked about the Jets?
Freaking dumpster fire. That's why people on here, we go back and forth on a lot of teams. And we go back and forth. We're going to have one day we're going to do Jordan and LeBron. We're gonna do the whole show is gonna be on that. You guys love it.
You guys better watch that one.
Please watch that one. Might be the next one we do because he and I are so different on LeBron and Jordan. And we both respect who the players are. So when you listen to it, it's not that we don't think either one isn't great because they both are. But we differ on so many areas in this. We're going to get into that on the next one.
Me and John might not talk for a couple of days after that debate.
Yep, that one gets deep. It gets deep. It gets ugly. It gets interrupting. It gets real New York comes out of both of us, man. It really comes out of both of us in that debate. But we both agree they're both great players. There's no doubt.
Yes, no. I'm gonna say I'll take Michael Jordan as Barry Sanders, and I'm going to say LeBron is Emmitt Smith. Longevity, stats. That's all he's doing, padding his stats. Because do you think Emmitt Smith was the greatest running back of all time?
But see, that's what I mean. Emmitt Smith's not even considered top 5. Walter Payton, to me, I mean, I respect the Barry Sanders argument because to me, Walter Payton's the greatest of all time, and I understand the Barry argument. Walter Payton, to me, is the greatest of ever, but Barry Sanders is like 1A to me, but I understand why people would put him over Payton. But Emmitt Smith, with those two, isn't even in that conversation. He's not.
He ended with just like LeBron, is going to end up with a couple of championships, is going to end up with the best.
But LeBron is playing, that's like saying LeBron's not playing at an elite level at the age he's at. He's not hanging around playing the 6th guy off the bench. This guy's putting up massive numbers. He's not coming off the bench. He's not hanging around.
After this conversation, we're going to go back and we're going to look at Emmitt Smith's last 4 years, and I'm going to prove you wrong.
Emmitt Smith on the Arizona Cardinals Cardinals were a garbage team. Emmitt Smith got 1,000 yards with them run. 1,000 yards with the Cardinals, who were trash. He did run behind probably the greatest line in history of Dallas, but he was a very good open field runner.
Of course, and probably one of the best tight ends of all time.
But when he went to the Cardinals, who were a joke of a squad, he still got 1,000 yards as an older running back.
That's impressive.
It is impressive, but I'm saying LeBron isn't way off from the top 5. Or Emmitt Smith isn't considered top 5. It's arguable, but a lot of people don't consider him top 5. He's not even in the discussion. If we were talking Walter Payton and Barry Sanders, and someone came in and threw Emmitt Smith in there, you would laugh him out of the room. He's not even in the same breath. Those two guys played on horrendous teams most of their careers. When Walter Payton started, there were 14-game seasons, by the way.
We're going to leave this here, John, because you're Mr. Oh, look at LeBron's stats. Look at what he does. Oh,
not looking at his stats. I'm just saying, you said he's padding his stats like he's hanging around coming off the bench.
Oh, no. You're right. I'll give you that. But we're going to get to that one. That's going to be.
Because it just ended here because we're going to be on at 3 in the morning. Just ended here.
We're going to end this conversation.
Yeah, just end it here while you're behind. End it while you're behind, bro. End it while you're behind.
But real quick, just to recap, this guy's soft as bread. If he goes to Phoenix, if he goes to I know he has a no trade clause. I'm assuming he has a no trade clause.
I don't know, but you would think he does.
I would think so. I mean, who he is, max contract, veteran in the league. But if he goes to Phoenix or if he goes to Miami, I'm sorry, man. You
weak. It's weak. And you're on the better team right now. Again, how can you go to a team that's going to be stripped of draft picks, stripped of players, and think that where you're going is going to be better than where you are right now?
He can still end up in LA. That's the craziness. Because think about this. Yes, I'll tell you why. I even think they can line both for them.
I don't even want to see that, man. I don't even want to see that.
Well, I know we don't want to see it, but it's still a possibility.
Kyrie going there, I understand that. But KD going there, that's the ultimate sucker move right there.
Man. Think about this.
Straight up sucker. Because who's going to be the leader of that team? Everybody knows it's LeBron, hands down. He's going to have to go there and accept that it's LeBron's team, not your team.
He did that when he went to Golden State.
I know that, but you got to remember, KD also said that he didn't like playing there a lot because he never felt like he was part of that team, like he was his team.
I don't think he's ever felt that any of his teams were part of his teams.
But he made the statement with Golden State. Like here, he hasn't made that yet. And he's been in the dark, basically. All these guys trying to contact him outside of his inner circle, he's gone dark. So that Golden State thing bothered him because I really think it was like Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, like Jimmy Johnson's getting all the credit, and I hired the guy. You know, it's kind of one of those deals. He's thinking like, he never said it, but he's acting as if Golden State wouldn't have won without him. Like, yes, Golden State did get you after they blew that 3-1 lead, which somehow they get a pass for not being called one of the worst chokes in the history of sports, being 73-9.
That goes back to Green, because Green is the reason why they lost that series.
No, that's the reason they lost game 5, maybe, but not the whole series. That's a joke. Draymond Green, listen, well, hold on. Let me finish my point on KD. KD they did contact him because they didn't want a chance losing to LeBron and the Cavs. Again, they needed one more person because if they had KD on that team, that probably wouldn't have happened. They went out and got him, and I think it went to his head that they need me. I don't need them. And I think the way he felt he was treated on Golden State wasn't like, hey, this is my team. No, it's Curry's team. Like when LeBron was on the Heat, you still knew it was Wade's team, but Wade kind of took that back seat to LeBron. But everybody knows it was Dwayne Wade's team.
100%.
But he was a team guy saying, hey, look, we got Bosh, we got LeBron. I understand LeBron is the better player. It's still, but LeBron was never there like that. It was Wade's team. We knew that. That's Curry's team. Just because they asked you to come to Golden State doesn't mean that it's now your team. I think that's what bothered him. That's my opinion.
No. I can't even disagree with that. That's awesome. But Anthony Davis and Westbrook, you kind of can trade them straight up for these two.
Well, why would the Nets do that? Why would they do it with a guy? Anthony Davis hasn't, at least the last I checked, I don't know about the last week, but he hadn't even shot a basketball in the last couple of months. He hasn't been playing that much. And Westbrook is better, I think, without playing with stars. I'm not a Westbrook hater. A lot of people hate him. I just think he's not used to doing his thing.
How can you hate on someone that averaged a triple-double 2 years in a row?
People do. He didn't play well with other stars, and I think that's just because he wasn't used to doing that. He's used to controlling the game, and I think with other people controlling it. But that's Anthony Davis and Westbrook for KD, why would the Nets do that?
Well, not straight up, but I mean, if you can put in a third team that is going to be able to give them draft picks, in between the two things there, you can make the trade.
What, are you falling off your chair?
No. I'm making a
like it's thinking, dude.
No, but there's only a few teams out there that can have the money and the salary, the cap, or players or draft picks to get this guy. But either which way he goes, if he goes to one of those teams, I'm going to lose all respect for him because I already lost some respect for him going to Golden State. But how can you not lose respect for this man?
It's gone, man. Now you wait for Kyrie to sign, and now you want to trade. I know Kyrie can still, but it's kind of like, and I give credit to my son who said this to me. This is not my idea, but he's right. He said it's like he waited for Kyrie to sign, so now I can get traded to a West Coast team, and I don't have to worry about facing Kyrie and LeBron together. If Kyrie signs, it's going to be harder for him to land because now someone's got to take the contract, give up a lot of players for him instead of him just being able to leave. KD, that was a great point my son made because KD was probably doesn't want to face on the West Coast a team with Kyrie and LeBron together who've already proven they can win together. So that was a good point. It was a really good point. And maybe that's the reason because after Kyrie signed 2 days later, he wants off the team, KD.
Right away. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a bad breakup because I think Kyrie was more of a jealous, almost kind of like Kobe and Shaq, oh, you're telling me I can't win without him or he can't win without me or something like that. And that's why he left and made this big fuss. But I can't respect this man if he goes to any of those two teams. I mean, at the end of the day, you can be considered a top 5 pure scorers and still have no respect. And that's crazy.
Right. And even you who are not big on LeBron, but you're a sports fan enough to know that this guy being compared to LeBron is an absolute joke. It's a joke.
Well,
KD cannot lead. What if you took KD off this Nets team and put LeBron on it with the players they got with Kyrie and all them? They wouldn't have been swept. They would have beaten Boston and moved right on, man. They would have.
Yep.
KD.
Well, LeBron.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. LeBron has won a championship in every team that he's ever been in.
That's right. And he's beaten all the top players of his era. He has.
Yep.
So, but again, we'll save that for the other day, man. We'll save the LeBron stuff for the other day. I'm just making the point here. The people.
Michael Jordan is the greatest, baby. Michael Jordan.
You better get ready for that because you already got knocked on the ropes earlier, man. But we'll leave it there, man. We'll leave it there because I like wrestling. I did that and got out the ring, man. Before you say something bad,
You did a Vince McMahon move.
I rolled out the ring and I'm on the catwalk pointing right now. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, man. Well, we'll see what happens with KD, man. We'll see what happens. This was an awesome.
John, this was awesome, John.
This was an awesome first one. I hope the 3 people that were here with us, and 2 of them probably family members. There might have been more, I don't know, but the people that did pop in, I really appreciate y'all. Lou and I are going to be doing this a lot. I told you, Johnny Basement channel is changing, moving forward. We're emerging from the depths. It's a basement mentality, never staying in the basement.
Basement mentality, baby.
Going forward to our short-term goal of 1,000 subscribers, moving on to the next goal of 2,000. More than halfway to 1,000 now. We are just diehard fans speaking to you, the diehard fans. That's what we are. We're not professionals. We will make mistakes. He made more than I did tonight, but we won't make them.
John, I'm going to make a lot more mistakes coming up.
I know you.
So,
I make them too.
I always told you, I'm not, not great with names. I'm not great with stats, but I can talk. Hopefully,
you know your stuff, man. I wouldn't have you on here. We wouldn't talk the way we do after games, calling each other, being on the phone, forever, man. Like, we wouldn't be on the phone forever talking about all this stuff and interrupting each other. Like, screw it, we're going to make a show out of this. This is what we do on the phone.
All day,
it's
every
crazy,
day, baby.
I'm telling you, man. Anyway, Johnny Basement, that's Lou Talks. We are out. We will have social media pages and the whole 9. Lou's better at that stuff than I am. I personally am not big on doing a lot of that stuff. But he does. He's the talker with all that, man. And we'll see you on the next one, which I'll put it in the community post when we're going to be on again together, which will be again this week.
Also have polls, whatever you guys want us to talk about, whatever you guys want to hear, whatever discussion that you want. Remember this thing is for you guys, the fans talking to fans. If you guys have ideas, please put it in the comments. Me and John are always looking at the comments, and whatever you guys want, let us know. We'll talk about it.
Amen. We will definitely talk about it. Appreciate you coming on tonight, Lou. We will say Friday. We will be doing this again within a couple days for sure. Oh yeah, we're going to get into the Mets. We're going to get into baseball races. Yep. Keith Hernandez.
Real quick, tomorrow it's Keith Hernandez Day. They're retiring his number tomorrow.
That's right. What a week.
About time.
Bobby Bonilla Day to Keith Hernandez Day.
Did you see what Uncle Steve said? This is the greatest. He goes, this is the best day that I love.
Bobby Bonilla Day.
He loves Bobby Bonilla. That's Trump shade for him.
Listen. You got to accept. It's like that Progressive commercial. Everything's going to be expensive at the movie theater, right? You just got to accept it. Uncle Steve is just taking it. He's just taking it in stride. Screw it. He's on the payroll till 2035.
Yes, Johnny Basement and Lou Tawks, baby.
We are out. Thank you for popping in. We'll see you in a couple days.